Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. That's one of the great things about being involved, and this is why I enjoy coming to this conference and enjoy being here with you all, and thank you for being here. And I sincerely mean that, because one of the problems that we have in this country is not enough people are involved in the process. Politics is no longer a spectator sport. You got to be in the game. And that's why you are here today. I want to thank Ralph Reed and his organization for inviting me to be here. I was here last year. And the message that I have this year is very similar to the message that I had last year, because a lot of things haven't changed. They've only gotten worse. Same message, new facts. Allow me to begin with something that may resonate with most of the people in this room. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. Who am I talking about? That sounds like our nation, doesn't it? But it was also the words of the Apostle Paul to the Corinthians. They've seen this picture before, and that's the picture that we are seeing today. And just like Paul's message was one of don't give up, that's my message to you about what we are facing in this country. You've had many great speakers, and you're going to have a lot of more speakers who are going to talk to you about some of the problems. I don't have to remind you of it. I sum up the problems that this nation faces through this administration with 3 words: a crisis of crises. Plural. Think about it. It's not just one crisis. There are several crises that this administration is dealing with and the Democrats are dealing with. Take your pick. There's no such thing as having a favorite crisis. Iraq, collaborating with Iran, Obamacare, the Veterans Administration, the EPA, a sluggish, stalled economy. Do any of these elicit good thoughts as I mentioned the very titles? The answer is no. But if that's not bad enough news, I have some even worse news for you. Those of you who heard me speak, I kind of pull you way down before I pull you way back up. You're going to be pretty depressed by the time I get ready to pull you back up. This administration has also shown that it does not understand the least bit about Crisis Management 1, not 101. 101 courses are usually designated as the freshman year courses in most of the majors in most colleges and universities. I call it Crisis Management 1, which means that they are not even familiar with what a first grader would do in order to solve some of these crises. A first grader would approach these problems a lot smarter than this administration. I'm not saying that to be insulting, I'm going to tell you the truth. You've heard me say that before. And when you put all of these crises together, we have not the making of, but a failed presidency. That's bad news for the people of the United States of America, and it's bad news for us. It is bad news. So my first message to you is stay informed. Stay informed. Because the mainstream media is complicit in the cover-up and in the denial and in the overlooking of information for the American people. Most people don't even know we are in as bad a condition as we are in. Because you're not going to hear on the 6 o'clock news or the 7 o'clock news that only 58% of registered voters voted in the last presidential election. The mainstream media said, a record. What about the 42% that stayed home? I've even heard people say, well, I don't vote because I don't know what's going on. And I say, good. Stupid people are running America, and I'm glad some of them stay home. The solution is real simple, folks. Those of us that are informed have got to outvote the stupid people. And you have got to become ambassadors of intelligence. Ambassadors of information. So number one, stay informed. Stay informed. If you get a chance to talk to a liberal over the weekend, let me give you a couple of compelling statistics. I said if. Because you know, liberals, they don't like facts. They can't handle the facts. But I enjoy getting into these discussions sometimes, and all you have to do is come up with some of your favorite facts. Let me give you a couple that I talked about on my radio show this morning. The most recent survey has shown, after surveying over 3,000 counties across this country and thousands of consumers, that for 2013 up until now, the average increase in health insurance premiums, 49%. Coming soon to a health insurance premium near you. Now, that doesn't count what's going to happen in 2014 on top of that 49%. Ask a liberal to try and defend that. It's indefensible. 49%. So the first thing that I encourage you to do is stay informed. Let me give you a couple of other things, because too many people stay home that could vote. Every vote counts. Every vote counts. I hate it when somebody says to me, my vote doesn't count. Back in 2012 in the Iowa caucus, some of you all will remember because you are involved. Mitt Romney won over Rick Santorum by 8 votes. 8. I could have brought all of my relatives and we would have had more than 8 votes. 8 votes. In 2000, remember the big controversy over the hanging chads in Florida? Bush finally won after 6 million votes were cast in Florida by 537 votes. Every vote counts. In 1994, the 2nd Congressional District in Connecticut was decided by 21 votes. And in 1984, in the 8th Congressional District of Indiana, it was decided by 4 votes. Every vote counts. So my first message to you is stay informed. And if you get an opportunity to convince people that their vote counts, use those stats. When you get into a discussion and people really don't know how bad it is, just tell them it's a crisis of crises. and then just start delineating the list. Secondly, Ralph always tells me how much time I have, and I always ignore him. I said, Ralph, when they start throwing tomatoes and onions at me, I'll get off the stage. Stay involved. You're here because you're involved. Many of you work in party politics. That is good. Many of you support your favorite candidates. That is a good thing. Many of you are involved in the Tea Party, and the liberals and the Democrats are trying to make you feel ashamed about being in the Tea Party when you should be proud to be part of the Tea Party movement in America. Tea Party is an attitude. Let me tell you very simply what the Tea Party attitude is. Less government, less taxes, and more individual responsibility, and live by the Constitution. That's what it is. What's wrong with that? I'm not mad at y'all, I just get passionate, you know that. So I encourage you to stay involved. Don't be intimidated in not staying involved in taking back our country. Thirdly, and finally, Ralph, stay inspired. You see, the liberals want you to believe that we cannot take this country back. The driver that drove me over from Heritage, where I was doing my radio show remotely, he said, what do you think about Obamacare? I said, it sucks. He said, do you think anything can be done about it? Yes. He said, what? I said, it's called repeal and replace. Because they want you to believe that it can't be repealed and replaced. And I got to tell you, there's a guy by the name of Tom Price from Georgia who put a very good solution on the table that most people never heard of. There are solutions out there better than that, and that's part of our challenge, which is why we got to focus on November 2014. So stay inspired. Believe in tomorrow if you stay informed. How many grandparents are in here today? Raise your hands. Grandparents, I'm one also. We are trying to prepare our grandkids. We're helping our kids prepare our grandkids for the future. But we've got another challenge. We got to make sure that there's a future there when they get there. Grandparents, young people, conservatives all over this country. So we have a dual responsibility, a dual responsibility. And so my message to you today is real simple. You got to stay informed. That's why you come to these conferences, so you can learn something. You got to stay involved. It's no longer a spectator sport. You got to be in the arena. That's why I ran for president the first time, because I was called to run. Somebody asked me recently, I get asked this all the time, and I share it with you, are you going to run again? And I remind them that our currency says, in God we trust. So it's natural that in God I trust. Liberals don't understand that. They go crazy when you refer to the Bible or you refer to your faith. I'm going to continue to stand and refer to my faith whenever I get an opportunity, which is why I applaud you for attending the Faith and Freedom Conference here in Washington, D.C. Let me leave you with these words. I closed up my iPad, Ralph. I speak at a lot of colleges and universities on purpose. And I recently spoke at Morehouse College, and the event was sponsored by the Morehouse College Republicans, a predominantly black school. They have a Morehouse College Republicans Club. And a young man that is now a graduate of Morehouse, he just graduated. He wrote a commentary that I later posted on my website. It was so compelling. And he ended that with something that I have been using ever since as a reminder about the greatness of this country. And that is, America is a place that defeats nightmares with dreams, the American dream. That's the America that we are fighting for, folks. Stay informed, stay involved, and stay inspired, and stay in the fight to take back our country. Amen. Thank you very much.